In order to understand anger, we need to understand our own emotions, as anger is just another emotion. It's quite important in life to understand, to comprehend, and to process our emotions. Otherwise, we will automatically battle with anger. I've seen many times in therapy that when people don't deal with their emotions, the only emotion they truly feel is actually anger. As we can say, anger is actually the lid of emotions. So if you do not deal and feel your emotions, the core emotion that you will feel is actually anger. We can also say in the emotional world, anything that we suppress will always explode. Therefore, if you suppress your emotions, the explosion that will usually happen will be anger. So it's so important in our life to manage our anger. Because in this universe, everything is connected. The stars, of the moon, the waters, the animals, nature, everything is connected. And if we go into our own human body, everything is connected here as well. But in our emotional, there's a physical body, but there's also an emotional body. In your emotional body, everything is connected. So what you feel one way in an emotional context, if you feel anger or rage here, it definitely will show up in other areas of your life as well. Emotions are intense. I went through a few relationship breakups. It's really intense. It was cruciating. My father and my brother passed away, and working through that grief was also tremendous. That is where I started to learn the intensity of emotions. For the logic mind, it's quite normal that when something hurts you, you need to escape it. But on our emotions, we cannot escape our emotions because you cannot actually escape yourself. So many times the logic mind comes to interfere basically with how you process your emotions. In my own life, I started to realize that what you do not process shows up in my life as triggers. Therefore, I start to react out of context, and I say and I do things which later leads to regret. The word emotion actually says beautiful. It tells us that things need to put in motion. So emotion is like puts energy into motion. And when there's emotion, and when we deal with our emotions, and we process our emotions, and we understand our emotions, it's like it creates a flow, flexibility, adaptability, and it creates harmony and it creates balance. But when we not in touch and connected with our emotions, and we start to resist our emotions, we get stuck. And when we get stuck on an emotional level, it definitely impacts the other areas of our life. Then we get stuck maybe in how we think, or we get stuck in relationships, or we get stuck in our finances. It will always show up in other areas of our life, as everything in this world is connected. Emotions gives us the beautiful ability to bond, to care, to love, to connect. Gives us the ability to forgive, to let go, etc. We can say that emotions gives us the ability to feel. Emotions also gives us the ability to express ourselves. When you were introduced in the womb to emotions, that is when you started to reprogram, or that is when you start to program your subconscious mind. Because emotions plays a big role in the program of your subconscious mind. And in the womb, if your mother experienced a lot of anxiety and fear, it would actually activate certain DNA inside your being in order for you to survive in this world. But if your mom experienced a lot of love and nurturing and care, it would activate other DNA because it would tell you and your psyche that this world is actually safe. Emotions is not only important inside the womb. Emotions is also important outside of the womb. When your mother gives birth to you, you connect with your mom first. Thereafter, you connect with your father, with your family. And that the deeper love your parents had for you and your family had for you, the deeper the ability will be to connect with you, to bond with you, to nurture you, and to care for you. Bonding is important. It's not only emotion, it is actually also biological, because that bonding releases certain chemicals, which is vital for your brain's growth. Emotions gives us the beautiful ability to connect. Your friendships, your romantic relationships, your work relationships, your relationship with strangers, it is all due to emotions. So our relationships is ruled by our emotions. Animals also feel emotions. We can actually say that everything that has a heartbeat has emotion, because emotions get generated by the heart. Let me give you an example. A lion has the emotion, which is a desire to chase the buck. The buck has an emotion, fear, which makes it basically trying to run away from the lion. Therefore, we can say emotion drives action. Every choice you've made in your life is driven by emotion. Must I stay in this relationship? Must I leave this relationship? Must I speak up in this conversation, or must I stay silent? Must I, in this situation, must I take a leap of faith, or must I stay safe? Every choice we made and every choice we have made was driven by our own emotions. And those beautiful experiences of falling in love, where you feel on top of the world, where you feel I can conquer anything, that pure connection, that vulnerability, that intimacy, that dancing, that singing, that having fun, it's all due to the gift of emotion. Without emotion, we would not be able to reproduce. We would not be able to nurture. We would not be able to care. I believe we are given emotions not only to connect with ourselves, but also to connect with others, and also to connect with something far greater than ourselves. Without emotions, we would be isolated beings, disconnected and alone. With emotion, we find meaning. Your words, your actions, your deeds matter because of what you feel. And yes, emotions can be overwhelming. And when emotions hit, it feels like ink pouring into water. And everything becomes colored, it becomes cloudy, it becomes hard to see through. But here is the key. You are not the ink. You are the water. Emotion is not who you are. It is actually just moving through you. It's only an experience. And if you stop to resist your own emotions and you start to allow these emotions, you can watch it and you can feel it, and then you will start to understand it. And it will show you great things about yourself and about life. So the process is when we start dealing with our emotions, we don't see them as strangers. We see them as passengers moving through us. And as these emotions move through us, we become stronger, we become clearer, we become more ready for what's next. All emotions are actually connected. One emotion is not separate from another emotion. Therefore, if you can just learn, even just to deal with anger and to feel your anger and to understand your anger and to process your anger, it will give you access to understand other emotions as well. And as you can learn to honor your emotions, and by working through these emotions, you will discover great, great wisdom. You will discover a deeper understanding of yourself within yourself. I do believe that the gift of life is to know thyself. And emotions opens a door of deeper inner knowing to your inner world. I hope you can give yourself permission to feel, because what you feel, you can heal.